patience, militant on exit baking. Scorched filaments, raw scores, 4 scores basic. Living in the pause to be caught by the bailiffs. Strained living in the laws of the matrix, sorcery payslips. Stay bedded with the orally praised strips. Salute the youths in the back, slack in the whack, never go back. Bleed, streets, pagans teach, grammar don't fake, reach. Loins, coins, noise, buoyant, team, dream for more, spread peace if it's beef and war. Even scores, all the peaks you bought. Never, jaja.
Mami, como tú bailas me tienes loca. Es que la playa vive en tu boca, que no lleve la ola y el mar. Y yo le dije, mami, que me lleva a bailar a Cuba y que La Habana todo te cura. Latinoamérica se vive así. Mami, como tú bailas me tienes loca. Es que la playa vive en tu boca, que no lleve la ola y el mar. Y yo le dije, mami, que me lleva a bailar a Cuba y que La Habana todo te cura. Latinoamérica se vive así. Mami. Mami, como tú bailas me tienes loca. Es que la playa vive en tu boca, que no lleve la ola y el mar. Y yo le dije, mami, que me lleva a bailar a Cuba y que La Habana todo te cura. Latinoamérica se vive así. Mami, como tú bailas me tienes loca. Es que la playa vive en tu boca, que no lleve la ola y el mar. Y yo le dije, mami, que me lleva a bailar a Cuba y que La Habana todo te cura. Latinoamérica se vive así. Mami, como tú bailas me tienes loca. Es que la playa vive en tu boca, que no lleve la ola y el mar. Y yo le dije, mami, que me lleva a bailar a Cuba y que La Habana todo te cura. Latinoamérica se vive así. Mami, como tú bailas me tienes loca.
Right, we're finally out of Lobby Sim, and we're here for another wonderful race night. Tonight we're in Brazil. Turn this up a little bit. If you hear it shuckering, it's because the microphone volume is very sensitive. When I'm in this room, I'm prepared to have it like super sensitive, so then there's not too many people that, can't hear, because I always have to adjust it when I do F1. Of course, fellas, a wonderful night here, race week 6 in Brazil. Of course, we don't know if we're going to have Sergio with us or not. I think as well, there's also been some issues with, I think, PC and Xbox tonight, where I know Xbox was like semi-down for like 6 hours, where people couldn't get on certain games. It was telling people that they owned the trial of the game rather than the full game, but we still done a wonderful job to get 17 in. And to my knowledge, we should be getting a couple more in as well. But even still, with the issues tonight, to still get 17 in is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. There's rumours today that we could finally see some wet weather and some rain. Terrible news for Surti, who announces that he is not here tonight. Maybe he's the curse, man. Maybe every time Surti isn't here, we end up getting clean, or not clean weather, but rainy weather. So, yeah, it's watching at the driver's lounge, people are saying maybe it's glitched, maybe rain. 45 minutes into the race, rain. Temperatures are really hot, so yeah, maybe it's rain, maybe it's a bug. Who knows whatsoever. Hope you're well. When does my name get mentioned alongside the Chissy, the Dom Parry, and the CBs? When you win a race, Mr. CB46. That's just the brute force honesty of it. So I'm going to hide these. I'm going to hide these as well. I need to move my camera up, and I also need to turn my my alert thingies on before we get into it. We're not missing anything anyway. You know how it goes. Qualifying. These first 17 minutes, we're just getting ourselves comfortable, aren't we? So I'll whack the camera up there. And then also we need to whack this on. Of course, tonight... Oh, Jesus, that made me jump, by the way. Holy hell. Heard someone coming out the pits, maybe literally jump scared the piss out of me. Unbelievable. Turn that on as well. So, lots of stuff to turn on. Come on. Load. Again, you may have to put up with my very basic and amateur breakdown if Sergio's not with us again tonight. So, I apologise in advance, but don't hold it against me. As I think that should be... Yep, everything's connected. Lovely stuff. Fantastic stuff. Alright. Like I said, of course, more and more people are going to be joining as qualifying goes on. Alright, here we go then. So, yeah, Brazil, 15 minutes of qualifying. If you are still playing FIFA, just listening in the background, or you are joining us at any stage, and you got friends that are joining us at any stage, then like I said, you've got 15 minutes to do so. Don't miss out on qualifying, or else you're cream cracking in terms of the race. Of course, standard names here this evening. You got your Chissies and your Dom Parrys and your BobbyLyons, who, of course, are the kind of pyramid of greatness at the top. Ethan Lasseter's back in with us as well. Wonder if he's got a full-time seat or if he's just, again, filling in as a reserve. CB46 says, when does my name start to get mentioned along the elites, the top tiers? Well, maybe today he puts himself in that position with a race win. Would be one of his very first. Of course, a huge welcome back as well to our usual kind of stragglers at the bottom, but they wouldn't be... the league wouldn't be the same without the likes of Blazer Guns and Sir Quinniff and all the wild and wonderful people that kind of make up the grid. Still interested to see if Michael can carry on that wonderful form from the start of the season here tonight. He's currently pitting. Make sure as well, again, with no Sergio's here, make sure that you're adding Michael, i.e. got a Lisp as a friend. If you're on Xbox, you can join off of his profile, or as an EA friend, so you can join off of his online status in case you lag out. For me, it's a lot more tricky and difficult because, yeah, if I, for example, have to kind of stop everything and pause and invite you, I'm going to miss like a key portion of the race. So probably best if it isn't me. But yeah, like I said, for Brazil, we can whack the map on as well. You can see the map in the bottom right. We'll do tyres, enable. There you go. So, again, I'm not going to give you the most in-depth quality review analysis of this one. That is usually Sergio. Oh, there he is. There's Sergio. Now he can give us the in-depth quality analysis of Brazil when he's all settled and sorted. But yeah, we'll also be reviewing the standings and also the constructors a little bit later as well. You all good, Sergio? Is my mic muted again? No, it's not. I checked. I did that last time. Maybe it's just...
Hello.
Oh, there he is. I missed you last week, pal.
Yeah, it's been a hectic week, but I'm back.
That's wonderful. Well, I mean, listen, we had some, I think, PC and Xbox issues tonight where people were struggling to get on. So the fact that I was saying before you got here, the fact that we've already got 18 people in the lobby is a wonderful sight. And that number, I think Michael said, is going to grow to maybe 20 or 21 if we're lucky, if everyone's FIFA stuff gets done on time. Obviously, those FIFA issues are still kind of delaying everything here and there. Away from the football pitch, though, and onto the grid, Sergio. Brazil tonight. I mean, how do you look at this? Is this a vanilla track? Is this a very neutral track? How do you view Brazil? Keep in mind, before you answer that question, there is a lot of rumours in the driver lounge today that there's supposed to be rain 45 minutes into the race. So how is Brazil usually as a track, and does rain really change the landscape of this?
Well, first of all, it was a very historic track, and first built in the 1940s. The way it was built for hotter climates. It's not used to rain. The example I tend to go to and use will be the roads in the UK, for example. They're built with certain materials to substand with the water and be okay with our weather conditions. In Brazil, it's different. They don't have as much rain in the area where this track is located, so it doesn't always need the same materials as what we use for our roads, so it doesn't disperse the water as easily, and we tend to get a lot of standing water, especially on the inside curbs. But thanks to all the hills and bumps, it does help push some of it away, but there will be standing water in some areas. It's a very bumpy circuit. That's the thing that people forget. It was resurfaced in 2014. However, there's still bumps in this circuit. Bearing in mind, this was obviously built during the Second World War, so it's a track that holds a lot of history, and it's one of those tracks as well that doesn't like to change much since it's first built. It doesn't like updates. So apart from a resurfacing and the addition of extra safety barriers to put it back on the F1 calendar, it's still got its old characteristics, and it probably will going forward as well. But rain really could turn this race up on its head.
I mean, it would be nice as well. I think, of course, we haven't had any wet weather since we had that confirmation of the, I don't know what you call it, a bug or an issue or something on the last update that basically meant that wet weather conditions had to be turned off, and Michael was setting every race to clear weather. So it'd be nice to just see that kind of introduction of different weather, different kind of strategy, and different kind of thinking from all of the drivers' perspectives. The thing that we are seeing as well, a couple of guys that are on PC, Ryan Parker in particular, and Dylan Evans, I think, is also on PC, saying they're getting the same kind of PC error, PC issue where they join the game and then it's telling them that they have completely disconnected or everything's disconnected. So, yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to have Ryan Parker tonight. And maybe if things continue as they are, if things continue as they are, we may not have Dylan Evans either, which, again, would be a big miss considering how, I think, consistent and also how dangerous in a positive way Dylan Evans has been at points during this season. Good news is, though, they've still got, you know, a good few minutes to kind of change everything up and see if they can, I don't know, for the lucky will of try, maybe kind of get in. But said just under 10 minutes to go before the race begins. Hopefully, we'll see them be able to kind of figure that out. But again, it's not their fault if they can't. Like I said, for Xbox and PC today, it's been a little bit of a nightmare in terms of the servers, which kind of makes sense. We had issues on FIFA and in general, I think, with PlayStation on Saturday, where PSN was down for 6 hours. So PSN goes down for 6 hours on Saturday, and then we get Xbox going down for 6 hours today. It's usually how it goes, hand in hand, part and parcel. But we can talk to you as we continue qualifying in the background. We can load up as well and show you the information about the standings coming into tonight. So we'll flick this over. Don't worry, not missing too much. Hide this. And then we need window capture. coming up. That one. All right. Fantastic. So thank you to Sean Tiller, as always, for these wonderful graphics here. Listen, the gap is closing. The gap is closing. Sergio, 101 points to Chissy, 90 points to BobbyLyons. Only a separation now of 11, which is a lot more tight than maybe Chissy would have liked. I think there was at one point in the season where he was 25 clear or 28 clear. Now it's only 11. Dom Parry continues to be in third place, but some distance behind Chissy. By my math, that makes it 44 points behind Chissy. So we need a couple of race wins and maybe Chissy to have a disaster to catch up. So it does feel like a two-horse race. Defending champion from last season, of course, VRL Kieran. You got to go all the way down. He's not even on the graphic because he hasn't scored a single point since this season began. And I did say I don't want to be too mean to him. He's not here so far tonight, so maybe it is a complete capitulation. But I did say it was the worst title defense that the VFL F1 League has ever seen if he doesn't register a single point. And I mean, that'd be right on brand for VRL Kieran. No offense to him, of course, but I mean, I have to say what you see, and that's the reality of it. I mean, do you look at this tonight then and say, well, Chissy will relish the prospect of having maybe a bit of pressure on him? Sergio, 11 points clear, kind of needs to win this race after the form of BobbyLyons in the last couple of races. Do you think he'll be feeling the pressure?
Probably not. He's been in this situation multiple times before in terms of tight championship battles, and I can't see it really affecting him that much. I think the thing that will most affect people is the lack of concentration and the focus on the weather. That's the main sort of question tonight, and I think that will creep up into people's minds, and I won't take their mind away from the actual racing aspect, and could cause some mistakes or errors. But no, I don't think the championship table's really going to have too much of an effect on the pressure side of things. It might be in the back of the mind, but it's certainly not going to be a current thought.
Of course, as well, the race for third place is also, for the season, could also be a fact of, it could come down to the last race. Dom Parry, 57, CB, 48, Jamsey, 40, and then even Michael up there with 34 points, as well as Henry there on 33. I have to keep heaping praise upon Michael. Such a great season in terms of his consistency so far. Would love another strong one here in Brazil tonight. In terms of the team constructors, though, Sergio, this is what it looks like. Red Bull seemingly have veered off into the distance, into the sunset. 141 points for Red Bull, 85 points for Audi, 70 points for McLaren, 51 points for Mercedes, 48 for Williams, 48 for Ferrari. I mean, if you close your eyes and you forget that the Red Bull exists, it's a pretty nice and tight grid for the team constructors. But for Red Bull, I mean, they've just found the winning combination with the likes of Chissy and Jamsey, haven't they? I think Jamsey tonight not able to make it, so VRT Bateman is the Red Bull partner. But I mean, yeah, this Red Bull side, this Red Bull duo of usually Chissy and Jamsey, they've just been probably one of the best teams I've ever seen this season.
Yeah, I've been instructed to inform you that Bobby and Chissy are starting last.
Interesting. Is that just out of choice?
I don't know. Bobby's just told me to tell you that they're starting last.
Well,
so that's the only information I have to tell you.
Before you came on commentary, it was about 3 seasons ago, when Chissy was kind of dominating. He did this a couple of times in season where he wanted to give himself more of a challenge, so he would intentionally start at the back because he knew he had a lead on the table on the championship, and he wanted to kind of test himself. So the fact that maybe these two have both pre-agreed tonight to see who can start, who can have the better race from the last place position is really interesting. I wonder if this goes terribly wrong for Chissy tonight, if he will learn to or live to regret this decision. But yeah, it's surprising, but it's not too surprising given the quality of these two. I think even if they start in 17th and 18th position tonight, it's highly unlikely that they finish there. The only difficulty is, as we've seen so many times before, the first sector, the first corner, the first lap, you can get caught up in such shenanigans if you start at the back. So maybe you've got to keep themselves separated ever so slightly and just take those first couple of corners nice and easy. But yeah, it should be an interesting one. I mean, especially if one of them struggles and one of them ends up finishing 10 places behind the other, then it really gives the person at the top of the championship table, championship grid, a huge advantage. On the team constructor, so one more question before you turn back onto the action, because we've got 3 minutes left here, Sergio. I mean, it's really perplexing, isn't it? Because you look at this if you're Audi, if you're McLaren, if you're Mercedes, and you say to yourself, okay, the championship here is gone. Red Bull are absolutely not going to throw, what is this, nearly a 60-point lead away in 4 races. So I think you have to kind of concede that Red Bull have got this, but there's still maybe a bit of pride there to play for second place, to play for third place, especially if you're the McLaren team that have not been anywhere near the kind of podium position of the constructors before.
Yeah, if you've not been in that position before and you've not really had the chance to fight for something higher up the table, then that should give little extra motivation. There should be a little more determination within the team as well to sort of hit those targets, and especially with where we are in the season as well, we're getting to that crunch point now. So yeah, there should be some more desire to sort of keep pushing harder than they have before.
There you go. Well, of course, we've gained another one. Surtees has just joined us. So Surtees tonight is going to be here. And I think probably what happened with Surtees is he heard there's a prospect of wet weather. I wouldn't miss this for the world. For now, though, we're back to the action. You see in the top left, 2:26 by my clock before we finish up with qualifying here tonight. I mean, a little bit more kind of brief information than about, as we talk about quality here, Sergio, a little bit more brief information about Brazil in clear weather, obviously a little bit more slicker and faster than compared to rain. As you said, not a track that's maybe designed to absorb a lot of rain, but a 1:08.254. I mean, are you looking at that and saying that's a world-class time, about right for Dom Parry? How are you looking at that? No Kieran tonight. He's usually the benchmark of speed in quali, but a couple of 1:08s, a couple of low 1:09s. Everyone's kind of together here tonight in terms of quali time.
Yeah, no, fantastic time there. It's a very good time. It's on the borderline of the world class time. But it's enough to see him in the top spot at the moment. You've got a 4/10 lead as it stands. That's pretty good going in terms of qualifying, because they're normally a lot closer than that. We're talking a 10th or under in F1 typically. So to have that kind of gap is a really, really good sort of booster going into the race here. But to be in front of the Ferraris as well works out perfectly, because a team play could come into action here, because it's Audi, Ferrari, Audi in the top 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we have yet to see such brilliance like we saw a couple of seasons ago when the Ferrari executed, I think it was in Baku, so brilliantly their team strategy, and I think there's a lot of hunger to kind of see that kind of performance again. But for Henry and Tiller, no doubt, maybe another race, another opportunity where as a team they can maybe put their chips on the table and say, this is why we chose to be each other's teammates, this is why we are representing the Ferrari again. Such a legacy team in the VFL F1 League when it comes to the likes of Ferrari and also Red Bull, and couldn't think of 2 better people to kind of lead them over the line. So to saying, with plenty of time to spare, I have nabbed a setup at the last second. So there you go. Surtees seems happy enough, but is he going to be able to kind of set a time? Maybe he will, as the boys are going to start to come in here from qualifying shortly. So a 1:08.254 so far, the benchmark of speed today. But as we keep saying, and as the boys have kept saying in that driver's lounge, there is estimated rain 45 minutes into the race. Is that accurate? Is that just F1 being a liar? Buggy only? Time will tell. But yeah, we'll wait and we'll see. But for tonight, the conversations about the title defense will continue. VRL Kieran either asleep or just waving the white flag this evening without even putting on a pair of race gloves and helmet. And it's getting closer and closer to being the worst title defense that a champion has put up. If he doesn't score a single point, wow, that would be quite embarrassing for him. But still, after tonight, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 races to go. So you would hope, you would think that Kieran's got the wherewithal to kind of secure some sort of position on the actual scoring grid. Brandon Leon's there saying didn't pick a car either. So Sergio, Oh, right. Well,
I'm winding them up.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, mate.
I'm fishing. I'm fishing.
You nearly got me on the hook there, I'll tell you. But just reading a little bit onto that one there. Cons, I think, was a little bit kind of scared there for a minute, but Michael's reassured him that there was no issue with his lap. But there you go. Listen, qualifying done. As per usual, fellas, please do not ready up until Michael gives you the go-ahead. But again, fair play to everyone tonight. Like I said, I know Ryan Parker can't be involved because of the PC issues. Same with Dylan Evans. I think still the fact that we had those issues on Xbox today, that for some people on Xbox and PC, they're still there. Some people still can't load into games or load onto the servers, but I think for the guys that have managed to make it work for them this evening, 19 of you, maybe 18 or 17 of you based on those PC issues, still a fantastic turnout considering all the things going on technology-wise. So big up yourselves as we get ready and strapped in to watch Brazil this evening. Again, do not ready up until 10:08 p.m. That is the official time. Do your setups, do your strategy, sort your wheels and your tyres and so forth and so forth. And just remember, there is that potential, there is that prospect of rain coming in tonight. I mean, with that knowledge of knowing that there is potentially rain midway through the race, Sergio, if you were racing tonight, how would you set up? What would be your preferred kind of, start? Would it be the mediums to go onto the hards or the hards to go onto the mediums? Because you're going to have to, at some point, make a change onto those intermediates if the rain becomes overbearing and heavy.
Yeah, I think I'd probably start off on the hard tyres and then see how long I can take them. And if close enough, I might be able to gamble and go for an intermediate tyre, maybe a lap or two early. You know, it will overheat, don't get me wrong, it will shred some rubber, but by the time the rain kicks in, you might be able to get past a few people that obviously waited a little while longer and potentially done an extra pit stop than you, so you might be able to gain some positions, but that's a very sort of long shot, especially at a track like this as well, where there's a lot of winding corners which will cut into your tyres quite easily. So yeah, I'd try and do that. Probably not the right call, but that's the kind of area I'd go for.
And what we're seeing now from Ethan Lesser is just kind of spilled the beans there. That's predicted to be heavy rain. So not just a little bit of splatter, but heavy rain in Brazil on a track which Sergio has explicitly kind of guided us is not, not built, not prepared, not ready for large quantities of water. So maybe we're going to see some carnage tonight with heavy. I mean, without the rain, it's not. It doesn't strike me as a safety car heavy track. I don't remember too many issues on Brazil in previous seasons, Sergio, when we've had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 safety cars. But with rain tonight, do you expect that to change, or do you still think it will be more of a a 3-second penalty bonanza with the rain?
I think it's going to be more penalties than it is safety cars, because a lot of the areas around this circuit, there's massive runoff spaces, and the wall doesn't sit too close to the circuit apart from on the start-finish straight. So if anyone has, by some, not even a miracle, by some disaster, has an accident on the start-finish straight, then yes, we'll get a safety car. But apart from that, rest of the circuit, we should be okay, because I'll say it's not a dangerous place, if you're off track anywhere else on the circuit. So we should be able to get away with it for the most part, and it probably will just be penalty points.
There you go. Of course, fellas, not too long to go now. If you're watching and spectating tonight, 10:08 p.m. is our start time. The boys in the garages right now just getting their setups prepared for race week 6 here in season 5 of VFL's F1 League. We're in Brazil this evening, but the breaking news is expected heavy rain. So we're going to see who maybe has their wits about them tonight. Your projected kind of top 3 as always. You're looking at Chissy, you're looking at BobbyLyons, and you're looking at Dom Parry. Those are the power 3. But in a rainy night in Brazil, anything can happen, anything can change. And again, for people, I know, for example, there's a couple of people, I think, DM'd me just as we were going into quali saying, how do we get involved in the F1 League? Again, every Monday, we're here at the same time, 9:40 p.m. we go into quali, around 10 p.m. is when we go into the actual race. So, you have to join midway through, you can do. Ultimately, every Monday around that same time. So, there you have it. Deanie, I'm good. Hope you're well. Just got here in time, mate, because we're just about to begin momentarily here in Brazil. Race week 5, so half of the season. Sorry, race week 6, so more than half of the season down. Only a few more races to go. Here we go, though, Sergio. It's clear for the time being, but that rain will come. That's what we know. So, first sector, as per usual, always the danger zone. And of course, tonight, if they are going to start at the back, you've got to keep your eyes on, no doubt, Chissy and BobbyLyons. But right now, we're looking, we're scanning, and it seems to be, well, someone's cutting the grass already or gone around that early kind of sideways gravel. Something slammed into the wall there as well. What have you seen? There's a lot of stuff going on here.
That's a Chissy out.
Whoa,
Chissy
wow.
and Bobby are out.
Chissy and Bobby are out. What happened there? Did they collide? What happened?
Very good question. I didn't quite see it. All I saw was two cars go into each other and straight into the wall, but caught it on the stream, that's for sure. I know that for a fact. I've got footage of it. It looked like a vicious crash. The front left wheel ripped off of both cars by the looks of it. But yeah, absolutely horrendous crash at the start of the race. But us straight away, two of the quick lads are gone.
Well, I tell you this much. If you were maybe anyone else in the lobby, I mean, for us watching, we're seeing, two of the best drivers go out here tonight. But dear Lord, Sergio, the opportunity that has just arrived for the likes of Dom Parry, for the likes of CB46, maybe even for the likes of Tiller, maybe even Michael if his form continues. This podium race tonight has just been blown wide open.
Yeah, a massive incident there at the start. So, interesting beginning to this GP. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can be known to have some errors in, but I think that was quite a horrific one compared to what we normally see.
Are you surprised that there's no safety car, or too early for it to be a safety car?
I'm not surprised.
There is a safety car. There is a safety car. Sorry, my fault. I thought there wasn't. Carry on.
Yeah, there is two cars on circuit when the accident happened, like literally in the middle of the track. So I'm not surprised at all, to be fair.
I tell you again. So you just joined us. You want to talk about unexpected ways to start a race? Two guys, and Chissy and BobbyLyons, who are usually the front two, usually the guys that we're talking about crossing the finish line in first or in second. They are great rivals. Maybe, I would say, Sergio, hazard a guess here, that was the first and last time we'll see them both opt to start at the back of a race. It's been agreed upon, maybe, it's happened, and it's resulted in round one or lap one death. So, yeah, like I said, though, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and I can't help but imagine the giant smile on Dom Parry's face when he heard that news come in through his helmet.
Yeah, works massively in his favour. Absolutely world-class news for him, really. But for those two that are out, there's a massive downfall, especially on the old championship.
There's a BobbyLyons there just saying just now in the driver's lounge, I'm never starting last again. So, I mean, the only thing you could say, glass half empty, glass half full, Sergio, if you're BobbyLyons, is yes, your race has been jeopardized today, but so is Chissy's. So there's no ground won, there's no ground lost, but it does open up maybe an opportunity for someone like Dom, who was miles behind in third place, to win today, go and get 25 points on the board, and maybe put himself back in the conversation of winning this championship. Quinniff there as well has seemingly retired in the pits, I believe. I'm not too sure, but there you go. Already 3 laps in out of 36 tonight. We've seen a safety car, a fiery crash between Chissy and BobbyLyons, and Sir Quinniff saying that's enough for me. So it's all going on in Brazil, and the kicker is, Sergio, the rain hasn't even hit yet. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, honestly, I'm still speechless from the incident at the very start, but the fact that's happened in the dry and we've still got the wet to come is absolutely crazy.
Dude, this could be the biggest opportunity for Surtees ever to get one of his highest finishes if he plays this right. Just depends how serious he takes it. Safety car in though on this lap, as we are 3 laps in. Doesn't feel like we've had 3 laps with the amount of action that we've seen already. But we'll hop on board with Henry on my POV. Again, fellas, remember that Sergio is also streaming. He also likes to cover more of the battles in the middle of the pack, but also at the back of the pack as well, so everyone gets a bit of shine on the in regards to screen time. But here we go, we're off, and we're taking a look once again. Michael also is also telling Dylan Evans that his internet is all over the place. So Dylan Evans, who has attempted to start the race tonight, who had those PC issues before we got set up in the lobby, is being warned about his connectivity and his potential connection. So if he starts to kind of zip and zoom all over the place and his car starts to look like a flying carpet, he will be advised, of course, to retire. But for now, it is Henry, the unlikely contender for Dom Parry, who is in the Ferrari chasing down the Audi. I mean, is it unfair, would you say, Sergio, now to lump the expectation on Dom Parry tonight? Is it a failure here if Dom Parry does not win this race this evening?
I wouldn't say it was a failure in my opinion, but I can see why some people may well think that. I completely understand, but I think it's more of a challenge to lose now than it is to win.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on, and I think when you take into account he is kind of the number 3 out of all of them, he is regarded as, I think, the veteran of the track. I think he is regarded as having more experience than BobbyLyons and maybe Chissy. He's kind of seen as like the wise sensei of the track, even though he is only young in his early 20s, but so much race experience for him. He's like what VRL Kieran would be if he just composed himself. So there you go, yin and yang in that sense. But for now, Henry still chasing down Dom Parry. Let's take a look around the other parts of the grid as well. As CB46, who again will be loving what he's seeing so far. He said before the stream tonight, what do I have to do to be mentioned in the kind of high time alongside the Chizzies and the BobbyLyons and the Dom Parrys? Well, I mean, listen, tonight a huge opportunity for this young man to find a way to kind of circumnavigate himself and position himself into a potential challenging spot, a challenger spot. 4th place at the minute, chasing down Sean Tiller, who again in the Ferrari has not had a lot of great fun the past, I would say, 10, 12 races. He's had a bit of a shaky last season, but tonight, wow, an opportunity for him as well. A very, very action-packed opening 6 laps. Keep on going down here. Shadows Gunner and VRT Dylan Evans are all very much in the train here, hunting for that 3rd position. Kieran 19 in 7th position, just a slight bit away from Michael so far. 8th position for him, looking to try and find a way to cut the gap down to Kieran 19. For Michael, again, another good night for him, considering who's out of the race already. Can maybe look like a potential 6th or 5th place finish. Ethan Leicester, of course, was here last week, is here again this week, just on the outside of Michael's time, but go further on down into like kind of 10th, 11th, 12th. You've got maybe a little bit of action down here. I mean, Sergio, I know you like watching the lower down parts of the table. The kind of battle here between Cons, Surtees, Pollenbreath and Tism. How's that looking for you?
Yeah, just watching well, all those from P11 to the back of the pack, and yeah, it's all quite close battling at the minute. Zink's been involved in a few. He gained a position or 2, and then he's lost a few again in the same lap. So he's had a very up and down sort of lap or 2 here. Blazer Guns now on the attack as well, so he's now pushing up through the field. But the only problem is they're battling so much with each other for this P13 position. Starting to lose the cars ahead just a little bit because they've got a bit more clean air to actually get away.
So as well for Blazer Guns, we'd love to see him do well tonight. He's been due a great performance, no doubt about it. Pollenbreath as well. Stu, one of the wise owls of the grid. I think he finished in the points last week, didn't he? So he'll be able to do the same here again tonight. I mean, is that synonymous with Brazil, would you say then, Sergio? You're going to have battles all over the grid. You're going to have maybe a little bit of separation, but then there's kind of battles from 1st to 3rd, battles from 6th to 9th, battles from 11th to 14th. Is that kind of what Brazil is for you? Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks. It's a nice sweeping track as well, so that you haven't really got any corners at all at the circuit where you really have to bring the car to a halt to actually turn in. There are some you have to slow down considerably for, but nothing compared to what we see, you know, the chicanes in Monza, for example, you know, nothing like that at all. So, yeah, it's a lovely track for battling and overtaking, and especially with the new regulations with these cars, no doubt we'll see quite a bit of it. for now as well. Henry in the Ferrari back very much in prime position as Dom Parry is now our focal point as he looks to go for an overtake here on the straight. Going to go on the inside. Ooh, very close, but not able to get that overtake ultimately. While people are looking at the screen and looking at this fantastic battle between these two juggernauts, I'm looking more upwards here, Sergio, and keeping an eye on those blue skies to see when maybe the overcast comes in and maybe when we're going to start to see that threat of the rain come on down. For those starting in mediums and hards then, I mean, who's in the better position if the rain hits at lap 15? I mean, for the mediums, it's going to be a really tight one, isn't it? Because you've got to try and keep those mediums on for as long as possible for that rain to come in, surely.
Yeah, well, what you have to remember as well is, even though I said it's not a track that's suited to the wet conditions, it doesn't get instantly wet, and it's not, you know, the conditions aren't perfect for either intermediate or wet tyres straight away. It's going to take a few laps at least to sort of get to that condition, and it depending on where it's actually raining, there's a chance that the majority of the circuit isn't actually wet enough for those tyres, so then you just stay on the same compound. So if anything, the hard tyres, in my opinion, at this stage, are going to be the better tyres to be on, and that's what I said about the strategy before the race. If it was me out there, I'd be sitting on hards right now and feeling quite happy and comfortable, and just seeing what happens as the race develops. Because yeah, if the rain doesn't come till towards the end of the race, then well, you'll be sitting quite pretty on your hard tyres, because you'll be looking about sort of mid to end of race to actually swap them out for a new set of tyres. So it work out perfectly. Especially
if you're Dom Parry. Dom Parry, of course, got a history not just in previous seasons, but I think also this season of really showing us that he's not scared of going the extra mile in those hard tyres. Was it him, Sergio? I think it was the last time you were with us on comms. He went something like 25 laps on his hards, didn't he? Was that someone else? I know that he's very comfortable on his hards, though, especially if they're kind of on the point of puncturing. He's not phasing Dom Parry to kind of stay out there for extra minutes.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I know exactly what you were on about, because I remember we were kind of shocked that those tyres are still going out there, and actually that driver was my driver of the day, just because their performance on those tyres was very impressive to actually keep the car pointing in a straight line. So they did an incredible job there, and we might need to see a miracle or two like that here tonight.
may well do. For now, of course, you see Dom Parry closing in on Henry again, and he does this time get the overtake. Henry, though, trying his best not to lock wheels with Dom Parry there. He does get forced a little bit wide, but ultimately still got to say that's more of a clean than a dirty overtake. Very, very well done there from Dom Parry. Going back down now, you can see CB46 has just got a front row seat to the action. You can see the leader of the pack, but he is going to have to find a way to cut down this distance, because that's a huge amount of distance. However, he's also got to be wary of what's behind him. Sergio Tiller continuing to be right on his tail, only a half second or so behind CB46. Shadow's Gunner as well, just behind Tiller there, but a little bit more distance than what you would maybe expect, as Kieran 19 has just zoomed on past Michael in the McLaren as we head into lap 11 of 36. But Michael doing what he does best, keeping consistent as we've seen this season, and just keeping steady. 8th place and climbing. This won't be his final position, let me tell you that for absolutely free. Even Leicester here as well in the top 10, safe and sound, with Pollen Breath, Blazer Guns and Manscott Tism all behind them. But it's been a bit of separation in that lower end of the grid, but right now it is Blazer Guns and Pollen Breath teammates battling here to try and get that 10th position. And again, I think both of them tonight would love to kind of get into the top 10 and get Chevrolet some points on that team constructors. But Manscott Tism, what is he going to do to be able to close it down? Surtees, what's he going to be able to do to kind of ascend himself and thrust himself into the top 10? We'll have to see him have one of his rare good races. But for now, the race starting to kind of spread out a bit more as Henry and Dom Parry about to head towards maybe another tight lap here. He's about to cross and go into lap number 12, and Henry there, boom, slides right past Dom Parry. Excellent use of the DRS there, and then ends up, you know, just a notch above him again. Reminder quickly on penalties, people. Kieran 19, 12 laps in with only 3 seconds. Manscott Tism with 3, Cons with 3, and Bateman with 3 as well. A third of the race down, Sergio. Surprised or not too surprised about there only being 4 penalties so far? Are we still looking good? Is this above average for you in terms of penalty control?
Yeah, I think this is pretty good at the minute. I think everyone's done a good job. I'm not surprised in any way with the amount of penalties we have. I was expecting a few, wasn't expecting a crazy amount at the moment, but no, a good job overall. And I think the telling question will be when the bad weather kicks in, if it definitely is coming. Obviously, the weather changes all the time. So if it definitely is coming, I think that's going to be the interesting one of whether people can actually keep it on target.
We've got Lewis Bex here as well. I think you'll appreciate this reference. And Blazer and Pollen Breath is like Gasly and Cola Pinto battling. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's spot on. Mid-table runners, but the battles are always close, and it's always sort of head to toe with those two. But I have to admit, I've been watching those two last few laps, and their battling's been really, really good. Tism's now coming into play, though, so Pollen Breath's going to have 2 things to think about: not only attacking and helping his teammate as best as he can, but also defending from the racing bulls that are closing up.
Yeah, that's the ultimate thing. It is a tag team match down there, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and sometimes your vision does get a little bit blinded by personal and individual success. Blazer Guns and Pollen Breath are not drivers that too often get the opportunity to finish in the points position. So you just wonder, maybe tonight it's Blazer Guns, if this stays as it is, lap 31, 32, going to get his elbows out and just tell his teammate to piss off and take 11th, I wonder. But for now, a very, very shrewd performance from the Cadillac. Again, to see Blazer Guns and Pollen Breath both established in the race, to both not, be plagued by penalties as we've seen them so far in the season, is refreshing. Ultimately, though, back up here we go, lap 14 of 36, as Henry continues to chase down Dom Parry. Are you seeing much indication as of maybe the rain coming or not coming yet, Sergio? There's more clouds forming. It's a little bit of overcast there in the distance, but I still feel like we're maybe 5 or 10 laps away.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit away yet. I think, Tiller's probably got the same thought, just coming out of the pits now on fresh, hard tyres. So I don't think Tiller thinks the rain's coming just yet either. So going with the longer tyres out of the 3 dry types you have. So maybe he's got, something that obviously we don't with the intel that their engineers give them. I don't know if it will be or even or different.
Sorry, I was on Henry there, and he's lost control of his car massively, just kind of skidding like it was on ice, but recovered it. But it has allowed Dom Parry to peel away, and Henry there, 13 lap on mediums, but that scared him enough there, Sergio, to drive into the pits and address that situation. So 14 lap on mediums coming off for the Ferrari as things stand. The Audis now occupy first and second. Lewis Bex is loving it though. He's saying, are there any Lewis Hamilton 5 seconds penalty to any Ferrari drivers? And then he said an Audi in first, rubs eyes, Gorn Hulkenberg. So again, Lewis clearly a fan of Dom Parry and Dylan Evans here tonight. CB46 for the time being, also in that podium position as well. Michael is now ascended all the way up to 4th position. It's a while away, 7.5 seconds behind CB46. I mean, we have the rain to come, potentially, you'd hope. But are we looking at this already nearly half the race in tonight, Sergio, and saying that front 3, it may interchange, but they're not going to drop out of the top 3? Or do you think that's too naive to say just yet?
I think it's a little early just because of the weather change that we may or may not have. I think that's obviously going to be the spanner in the works. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that could shake things up. It might not have much of an effect, but obviously the chance it might have a great effect. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when that situation does come about.
For now, I'm rooting for CB. I think you don't need to be an avid watcher of the F1 League to know. I rate this kid a lot. I think his ability as a kind of younger driver, maybe not in terms of age, but in terms of experience, is just phenomenal. And like I said, the fact that tonight he's seen Chissy and BobbyLyons have a fiery, infernal crash, it's it's got to be seized, this opportunity. He would hate himself, CB46, tonight if he doesn't at least get a top 3 position. I think he's got to be thinking about top 2 position. I think on his day, he's faster than Dylan Evans. But again, this is the thing. Everyone's seeing that incident in race 1, Sergio, tonight. Everybody, from the Dom Parrys, the Dylan Evans, the CB46s, even down to the Surtees, even down to the Kieran 19s, the Cons 10s, they're going to be motivated. Everyone's going to be racing that little extra bit harder because now there's an extra 2 positions upwards for grabs.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's the risk versus reward is actually less because obviously we're normally sitting on a grid of 22. So when you crash or like lose out or something like that, you're not falling back to P22, you're falling back to P16 at the lowest. And even then, it doesn't put you miles behind. You've only got to overtake, 5 or so cars before you're back in decent points again, or at least the start of the points. So it's not actually that bad. And bearing in mind as well, there are penalties out there, so that some of those penalties are currently sitting in the top 10. Bearing in mind, that will obviously potentially put people up or get them a lot closer than what they need to be. You don't have to be in front of someone with a penalty to, actually be ahead of them at the end of the race. You can sit right behind them the entire race, and obviously at the end of it, they know that they lose out because their penalty will switch their position in a heartbeat.
I saw a little bit of jitter there from Dylan Evans as we're on CB46, but 17 laps in out of 36, and it's all still to play for. The clouds are getting a bit more fuller, aren't they? You can see that in the sky. It's getting a bit more, I wouldn't say threatening yet, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, for Ethan Lasseter, by the way, he's going to have to pit surely soon. 16-lap-old mediums. His tyres must be screaming. We'll sit on board of Ethan and see if this is going to be the moment where he decides he has to go in, because they can't be too far away from puncturing. And yet, as expected, in he goes. And Michael gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Oh, that is horrific from Michael. Such a great season so far, but a devastating 10-second penalty there for him. And again, you feel upset for him, but then you can't really have too much sympathy for him because he is such an experienced driver, the owner of the league, the big cheese. He can't be getting done by speeding in the pit lane penalties. For Ethan Lasseter, he heeds that warning. You saw Michael go in like a barrel of hell, slowed down, and he's on to fresh mediums now. No penalty to serve. It's a weird question, Sergio, but I feel like it's valid. Is Brazil one of those tracks, because I remember, asking the old commentary team with Scarata and Batistuta, is Brazil one of those tracks where the pit lane is a bit deceptive, where you can get caught out with those 10-second penalties? Because I remember them saying that there are certain tracks on the calendar and previous calendars where the pit lane can be a little bit kind of, it just creeps up on you. It's just very instant. Is Brazil one of those, in your opinion?
Yeah, it certainly is. Because it's just after the left-hander kink in the backstring. In fact, I think just before. So there you go. I'm talking about it, and even I'm getting caught out by it, and I'm not even looking at it at the moment. So, yeah, I think it's just before the kink in that back straight. So it can catch drivers out, and I think the thing that people forget as well is this is actually the longest pit lane on the F1 calendar. Obviously, it starts before the last turn, and it finishes after turn 3. So it's actually the longest pit lane on the calendar in general. So you're spending the longest amount of time in the pit lane at this course. So you've got to take that into calculations. But yeah, it does creep up on you quite quickly, and I think other pit lanes are normally a little more obvious as well. This is on a slight hill. And like I say, it's at a corner. It's not somewhere you'd be expecting it, especially if you're locked in a battle, which tends to be the main overtaking spot on that back straight. So yeah, it's not an ideal place for a pit lane entry, but that does catch a lot of people out.
Well, for now, we're with Ethan Lasseter. I think the likes of Ethan and Michael and Surtees and Bateman are going to be even looking at this. Maybe even Zink and Kieran as well. All of those guys from 11th downwards, they've got to be looking at this and saying, we don't want it to rain just yet. It would make their recent pit maybe look like a bit of a disaster. But I mean, this is where it gets interesting now. When we look at the other end of the spectrum, so to speak, here, Sergio, looking at Cons, you're looking at Tism, Pollen Breath, Blazergun, CB, Dylan Evans, Dom Parry. Is this now a game of chicken or Russian roulette, where you've got to make the decision as a driver how good am I on these kind of worn down hard tyres? Because if you go in and pit and then you're on 1 lap or 2 lap old hards and then the rain comes down, you're going to feel like a complete idiot. How would you approach this? Would you be a bit more cautious and still change tyre regardless, or would you risk it? Would you gamble and try and keep out there for as long as possible?
If it was me, I'd be trying to keep my tyres going as long as possible until I notice my time really falling off, and at that point you're going to have to call it regardless. But yeah, until you get to the point where your time's really sort of slowing down, and you know you're not able to keep up with the pack where you expect to be racing, then that's the point. You need to just call it. The tyres are dead. You're not getting the max or the best line or grip out of them, so replace them. And if it means that you know you're 1 lap or 2 away from the rain and you have to do an extra pit stop, then it is what it is. That's the life of racing. So be it. It's not a bad call. It's just you've tried something and it just hasn't worked. And if you're going for longevity of the tyres and trying to see out their life, I have full respect to every racer that does try that, because it's a brave and bold thing to do. It's more bold than going early, because obviously you're putting your faith in tyres that ultimately are dead, and they're not trying to get you around the track. If anything, they're trying to get you killed.
The other side of it, you could say as well, all valid points, but do you look at Cons and say maybe he's onto something, because he's gone in and he's not whacked on mediums, he's not whacked on hards, he's whacked on softs. So maybe Cons, they're gambling that the rain is coming in the next maybe 4 to 5 laps, and that maybe that gets him out of jail.
Yeah, could be doing that. And also that the soft tyre in theory should help him close the gap a little bit as well. Having the softest compound of rubber on there, it's going to help get the grip down and attack more. And the heat in the tyres as well is crucial for the softs, and that could pose an issue when the rain starts coming down. But the thing is, you never know until you try it. And I tell you this, I'm looking at the time between Cons and 30, and it's coming down. It's it's still up there, but it is coming down.
Well, for now, of course, 22 laps in, and a lot of these guys still on those hard-worn hards. Dylan Evans, CB46, Dom Parry, Paul and Breath and Tism, all riding these hards to the absolute brim. Go down for the grid here, of course, you've got a little bit more of a fight back here. 30 Kieran Leaf, and that's a reminder of penalties also for you guys. 3 seconds for Dylan Evans, 6 for Tism, 10 for Michael. It's still a wounder for our great chief. 3 for Blazer Guns, 6 for Kieran, 19, 9 for Cons, 3 for Zinc, and 3 for Bateman. So I'll tell you this much, now there are possibility here, Sergio, that if Surtees can just keep it serious, just keep his professionalism for once here tonight, he could very much be looking at potentially an 8th or 7th place finish.
Yeah, massive finish as well. Just got to keep your head screwed on and keep focused for when this bad weather does show up. You just need to make sure you attack it the best of your abilities and just hold your position. And if you can climb, then climb.
The other thing as well that I'll say is going back up to the top of the grid. I know there's not really too much of a concern yet with 13 laps to go, but Dylan Evans taking that 3-second time penalty. Is that confirmation for you, for your teammate, if you're out on the grid? You're Don Parry, you said to Dylan, listen, you've got a 3-second time penalty, mate. I need you to act as a teammate now. I need you to act as a blocker to slow down CB46 as much as you can and just get me over the line here tonight. Would that be the correct thing to do?
Yeah, I'd say so. The blocking option is so powerful now in Formula 1, since obviously we saw it quite heavily in the 2021 outcome of the first championship of Max Verstappen. Since then we've seen it quite a lot, and we've seen good examples of it. We've seen it done incredibly well in the VFL League as well, with obviously the former Ferrari tag team of Tiller and Shadow Gunner.
Yeah.
So again, they did it spectacularly, but if done correctly, it could be so powerful and so overpowered as well. It's just a rolling roadblock. So yeah, it definitely could be the correct call. It's just a case of, can you pull the call off? It's all good and well saying, well, this is what we're going to do, or we're going to plan to do this. Actually pulling it off and saying it, 2 completely different things.
Well, I think the drivers as well, Sergio Nagli, looking right above them, and that greyness is certainly it's certainly prevalent now. This is the other question for you. You're seeing how grey it is. You're seeing that it's starting to get a little bit darker around here in Brazil tonight. Do you maybe come off your hards one lap earlier than expected or planned and go on those intermediates so that when the rain immediately comes in, you're set? Or is this correct idea just to keep out there literally until you see that first rain droplet hit?
I think both methods can work. The first one is obviously a lot more risky, dangerous, because if you take intermediates out now, they'll get burned up very quickly because the rubber's a lot thicker. So they can't disperse heat. They disperse water, but not heat. So they'll get very warm, and could cause some.
Well, Ethan Lasseter, it seems, has. Oh Jesus, he's crashed into him as well. Has Cons, but Ethan Lasseter has banged into the rubble. Sorry, Cons has banged into Ethan Lasseter's rubble, and there is another death on the track there. You have to wonder what happened to Ethan. We'll check the driver's lounge, see what happened. I didn't catch it, but
rain.
The rain's come in.
Yep.
Okay, well, I mean that's okay. Well, let me pose this question to you. Ethan Lasseter crashing and thus slowing the race down because everyone is starting to slow a bit more, as well as the rain coming in. Does that help people or make no difference with that incident?
It could help people. However, I will tell you one thing for sure. He has done nothing but ruin his teammates' race, unfortunately. So what had happened is coming into the last sharp corner, the last left-hander, before the long, sweeping, sort of curved straight, the back straight, he spun his car, and by spinning his car, it was right in front of his teammate. His teammate's front wing takes a knock, gets damaged. Then
that's terrible.
Then the best bit is, teammate comes into the pits. Teammate doesn't have time to react to the rain because the rain starts as he's in the pit lane.
Oh.
So he's now on fresh, hard tyres, and the rain has just kicked in. So we're looking at potentially another pit stop. So he's not done his teammate any favours at all, and if anything, there might be some investigation by the FIA for sabotage.
Oh, well, it's all going on tonight as well. Pollen Breakfast there coming in saying, wasn't paying attention to my Delta. I've got a drive-through. Adversary is furious at what he's seeing here, saying that Kieran 19 is a moron and lacks so many brain cells. I mean, do you look at it and say it's Kieran 19's fault? Do you look at it and say it's harsh? How do you view Kieran 19's part in all of this?
Typically, I switched away just as the collision was happening. But from what I saw a car spin out and another car go into him. The car that went into them is the car that's still going at the moment, and that's Kieran. So you can't blame him for a spin if it's happened right in front of you. That's not something in the racer's control, but at the same time, I may have not seen something that they had seen, because again, I did switch away for a brief second as it happened.
Well, there you go. You can see now as well, visually on the screen, it's spitting. But the safety car is still out there as well. I'm just saying, no, I'm sat in the call with this kid trying to understand what the fuck he's doing. So Adversary is on the headset. Just imagine that exchange. It's just making me laugh. But Adversary is just in complete disbelief. He's got the race headset around his neck, walking around his living room with the arms up, just not understanding what he's seeing. And yeah, he's in a state of disbelief tonight. Is race coordinator Adversary, team race director Adversary. So yeah, but I mean, listen, the safety car being out there, the rain coming in slowly, as you said, maybe it benefit. I tell you who it definitely did benefit, Sergio, Blazer Guns, because as the rain came in, he was only on a 4-lap old medium, so that safety car has actually saved him from a bit of a disaster as well.
Yeah, I think I can one-up you there. We're playing a bit of Uno here, and I'm going to put my cons card down.
Yeah.
Those softs, it worked perfectly for him, and he's even put in the chat that he's earned some time back here, and even though it's under a safety car at the minute, it's helped him. It has helped him. I mean, he's one position away from a point, so it's still 8 seconds to clear up here, but I'd say there's a good chance he might catch the queue if the safety car stays up for another lap. If it's in this lap, maybe not. It might not be on. It might be a bit of a tough ask still, but if he can just get a little closer, even to the cars ahead, points are on the cards for cons.
Oh, 100,000%. That'd be great as well. So I feel like when you make that kind of risk, that kind of gamble, you definitely do, and it pays off like it has done. You definitely deserve something, and he's put himself in a position now where he can absolutely go and earn something. So Pollen Breath is continuing to beat himself up. He said he retired from the session and he can't believe what he's done. He's such an idiot. But again, don't beat yourself up too much, Stu. It is what it is. We go again next week. Cons as well saying somehow the destroyed car on the track reversed into me with no front tyres. Great game. There you go. Cons not happy with the ghost car either. So yeah, listen, lap 28 of 36, the safety car is still out there. There is a real potential that we can maybe see a shootout tonight between Dom, Parry and CB46. Maybe Henry too. Don't rule out him and Shadow's Gunner, but I mean, you want to be great, you want to be listed amongst the greats, Mr. CB46. You got one hell of an opportunity to go and do it here tonight. Even as I say, my Aston Martin teammates, my Aston Martin teammate there, brain dead. I think Ethan Lesser hit his head off the dashboard and couldn't put the English together. But yeah, even Ethan Lesser is not happy with Kieran 19 tonight. So yeah, Adversary saying he laughed as it happened, just thought you should know. So Adversary trying to rile up Ethan Lesser a bit more and get him angry. I don't know. Lewis Beck saying Lance Stroll on the track as well. So a lot of humour hitting the airwaves here tonight. But so far, we'll give you one more reminder on penalties as we go into this penultimate moment. Dylan Evans, 3 seconds. Manscott-Tism, 6. Blazer Guns with 3. Cons with 9. Michael with 3 now. Kieran with 6. Zink with 3. And Bateman with 6. And the safety car, Sergio, is now heading in.
Yeah, which has worked perfectly, like I say, for Cons. Managed to get 2 overtakes during that safety car as well. The 2 cars behind him that he was catching originally, Seti and Liz, both in the pit lane as he overtook them. So he's found his way into the points. Obviously, the penalty doesn't work in his favour, but the cars around him also have a penalty. So see if he can just hold his own now for the rest of the race and come away with something. Well,
final kind of 7 laps here, then it's all to play for. We've got a great view here with Dylan Evans, who's still got that penalty on him as well, but gives us a kind of idea of just how close he is to overtaking CB, because that's got to be the aim from Dylan Evans here, is overtake CB and act as a kind of obstacle for CB to get past, and Dylan Evans there has just achieved that. So now this is where you think, Sergio, ultimate team play comes in for these remaining 6.5 laps.
Yeah, team play can work out massively. To be fair, if I was the Audi team at this moment in time, it might be a bit over the top, but I'd be switching the cars of Dylan and Dom around and put Dom in P2, but Dom can defend and hold off against CB and Henry, who are currently battling anyway, because Dylan has a penalty. So as long as Dom stays within that time frame, should we say, that penalty time frame, he's still going to be P1 at the end of the race, just won't cross the line in first. But that guarantees a top 2 for the Audis. So that's the way I would be doing it, or looking to do it. But it's just going to be difficult with the new systems and new setups for these cars. It's just constant attacks.
I think as well, Dom Parry probably never going to be able to be convinced to give up second. Well, never mind, I tell a lie, because he has just gone into second. So it seems like we're going to call you the Audi race coordinator here tonight, Sergio, because they have done pretty much exactly what you just said.
Yeah, I think that's the most sensible thing to do, and I think it's a good call if that's the plan that they're going with. I mean, I think things are getting a bit heated between Lisp and Blazer Guns. I mean, I've just seen Lisp get put into a wall. I don't know if he's come across the Cadillac there of Blazer Guns or not. I don't know how they came together, but I just saw the front of Blazer Guns' car tapping the back corner of Lisp's car and just sending him headfirst into a wall. He's managed to carry on though and keep it out without, with minimum damage. So he's done a very good job there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens and what unfolds between these two, because things either could be getting heated or it's just a lapse of concentration.
Well, right now, Dom Parry has slipped into third as the Ferrari and Henry here now looking to try and shake things up and win this race. I think as well, Shadow's Gunner still one, as well as CB46 to keep your eye on. That race for third place, that battle for third place is hotting up. Look at that from 5th place onwards. As there's a little bit of connection there. I don't think it was too much of anything to kind of ruin the car, but yeah, I can't call, Sergio, who's gonna nab the third position here in the podium.
No, it's a tricky call, but I wouldn't say Dom Parry's out of it yet. He's still within a second. You've got to be within a second and car ahead to have the, I believe it's the overtake available. So as long as he can keep within that distance, but it's yeah, he fell off the times a little quickly, which was a little concerning. So it'd be interesting to see if he can just keep within those 7 to 8 tenths that he's in at the moment.
5 laps to go. Dylan Evans, of course, with that penalty. A reminder up there, the penalty is 3 seconds. So right now, Henry and the Ferrari would be looking likely to win this one tonight. Dom Parry has got to find a way to close things up. And you can see here, it's getting more and more tight. And perhaps Dylan Evans is going to get overtaken here. Dom Parry now right hot on the track, on the trail of Henry and Dylan Evans. I mean, for Dom Parry, it just shows you how damn good he is as well, because he's had to make up time to make sure that this plan succeeds. And right now, he is right on the back end of Henry as well. Do you think this just comes down, these final 4 laps, Sergio, to just who's got that, I don't know, that extra speed? Does it come down to who is the better racer here? Do you think strategy may well play a part still?
I think the strategy is going to play a part, but it does come down to skill, especially in the wet. It's not something that's easy to race in at all, and it does test your skills and your concentration as well. So those drivers that are even just more awake than others, they're going to do better in this situation because they're going to be able to read the track better.
That's a big overtake though from Henry, isn't it? And now Henry has got a position to defend for the next 4 laps. And Dylan Evans there nearly had a bit of a crisis that he spun out as well. But well, Henry 4 laps away, turning into 3 laps away from winning here in Brazil tonight. Dylan Evans is hot on pursuit here, but of course does have that penalty lingering. Go back here into this kind of battle between 5th and 4th Shadow Gunners and CB46 continuing to jostle and try and bend round one another, but CB46 coming out of that exchange a little bit more better off. Dom Parry and Dylan Evans now very much just trying to use one another to kind of gain position back up the grid. Cons there, 10-second penalty speeding in the pit lane, and he has joined the fiery inferno, you could say. Even though he's not crashed to the pit lane, he's waved the flag here tonight and mentally said, I am out of here. So with 3 laps to go, Cons says that's enough for me tonight, Jeff. And we sit here now with bated breath as to who's going to win this one tonight. But Henry right now, I would say, Sergio, it's going to take a real cock up here from Henry to lose from this position.
I would say the same thing, but we did witness Dom Parry a few laps ago absolutely kill the time between the 2 cars, go from 8 tenths to a 10th and then to challenge. So I think it's still potentially on, and all it takes is a slight slip up, which is very easy to do in these conditions, from Henry in that Ferrari to cost himself a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes maybe one overstep of the track limits, because I tell you this much, Henry is going to hate himself if in the last lap or 2 he ends up getting some sort of 3-second time penalty, and that's happened before. Go back to, I think, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when Com 45 as well in Brazil. Final turn of Brazil, and just effectively his tyre punctured and he torpedoed into the wall, led the race for so long and then lost the race. We have seen some crazy stuff over the years happen in Brazil. It's definitely got a little bit of black magic surrounding it, but for now, maybe Dom Parry's going to need a little bit of that black magic to come out on top in this one. Henry doing a great job to defend the position so far, and ultimately as well, what it will mean is that Dylan Evans may well be on the verge, on the cusp here of finishing outside the top 3 if Shadow's Gunner can just keep his composure. Quite ironic, isn't it, as well, Sergio? Former teammates Shadows Gunner and Tiller competing, battling to kind of take 4th position in the hope that Dylan Evans makes a mistake and they can capitalise on the podium.
Yeah, it shows how good of a team that they were together as well, since they're still neck and neck pretty much on the grid so far week after week, so it shows that their pace is still identical. But yeah, his teammates flying the colours at the moment, doing a very good job of that as well. We're on currently on board with Dom Parry at the moment. Can't wait to the top of the table to check it out myself, and it's a very good battle so far. The cars are getting a little squirrely, especially on that last sharp left-hander where we just saw an incident a few laps ago. Both the top 2 were struggling to get the grip down for the acceleration.
Yeah, it was in that final sector as well. I've seen it a couple of times now that Dylan Evans has almost kind of lost control of the car and has to really kind of stabilise himself. But again, with these kind of top 3, top 4 tonight, even without the likes of Chissy and BobbyLyons involved, it's been very high quality. I sit and wonder, with Chissy and BobbyLyons watching this race transpire tonight, what could have been. Again, could have seen Chissy extend that lead at the top. Could have seen BobbyLyons cut the lead right down. Ultimately tonight, Henry is looking likely to be the guy that asserts himself in potentially an outside title race. I still think it's a massive opportunity missed if Dom Parry doesn't take first place tonight. Again, we'll keep the screen up, but I'll give you the quick reminder on things here. Standings before the race tonight. Chissy 101 points, BobbyLyons 90 points, Dom Parry 57. So if he won here tonight, that puts him on 82 points. That's not too far behind Chissy. But ultimately, Henry, who was on 33 points, is going to leapfrog a lot of names above him and really maybe put himself into a position to fight for a top 3. So ultimately tonight, this here for Chissy, for BobbyLyons, is a great position. Yes, Dom Parry's still going to get some excellent points here from finishing second, but it's a crushing blow mentally as well for Dom Parry to not come out of this with how he led so much of this race and not perhaps win this one. However, he is right on Henry's arse here, so this could be a real tight finish with all things considered. Henry's got to just keep his head in the game, keep focused, keep that concentration. He's pretty much halfway there, and now he speeds off again, but is he going to brake a little bit too slowly here? No, absolutely fine. So for tonight, as we watch from Dom Parry's point of view, it does look like the Ferrari are back in the winning conversation of things. Dylan Evans there is slipped massively, and now it's Shadows Gunner who does take third place. Here we go, this could be big. Can he peek round? He's trying. Can he get round? No, Henry defends it so well, Sergio. And the Ferrari tonight just about gets it. What a photo finish for the Ferrari there. For Dom Parry, he'll be disappointed. But look at that, 0.048 of a second, Sergio. What a finish that was.
Yeah, an incredible finish. Under a tenth of a second between the top 2. Incredible racing. And good defending from Henry as well. I thought it might get a bit vicious on the back straight, but no, they did very well to keep it calm and collected. And yeah, very well done to both the races. There
you go as well. A big congratulations to Blazer Guns getting in the top 8, and for Michael as well, a nightmare situation with that 10-second time penalty earlier on in the day. Still comes out with a point here tonight. CB46 furious. He sees it like a missed opportunity as well, Sergio, saying, fuck the rain, I hate it, sliding everywhere tonight, can fuck off. Well, listen, it feels like an opportunity missed when you think about those 2 big names at the start crashing out in lap 1, but ultimately tonight, the glory ends with Ferrari. The glory lands in Ferrari's lap, and for Henry, he has very much put the Ferrari back on the map. For Tiller as well, a very solid race all round. Positive things to say for the Ferrari here this evening. For Dom Parry, it's massive points gained. It's not the the maximum points he could have got, but he's closed down the gap quite considerably to the top 2. Maybe this is the start of Dom Parry and an underdog story to kind of win this season's championship. But there you go, confirmation again. Podium tonight, Henry, Dom Parry and Shadow's Gunner. Shadow's Gunner pipping his former teammate Tiller to a podium. I'm sure they'll have some banter between them there. Surty in 5th position. I said tonight, man, if he just kept it serious and kept his head, he'd be on for one of his all-time high finishes. I think that is one of his all-time high finishes. A solid one there tonight from himself. CB46, Dylan Evans, Blazer Guns, Tism, and Michael all end up in the points with, of course, retirements and more towards the bottom of the grid. Man's got Tism saying, finally got points. Woo, congratulations. Solid racing tonight, Tism, as well. 9th in the tower there is excellent. But yeah, of course, remember, any incidents or anything you want to report, or send it into Michael's channel. It'll be open now until tomorrow night at 11 p.m. But ultimately, what a race it was, and what a start it was to have those two juggernauts, those two heavyweights just disappear out of nowhere. That must have widened the eyes of everyone and made everyone race that a little bit harder. So yeah, solid performance tonight, and I expect the same again next week, because race week 7, Abu Dhabi, remaining 4 tracks now of the calendar, Sergio. Abu Dhabi, Japan, Australia, Texas, in that order. Do you see any deceptive, dangerous tracks in there out of Abu Dhabi, Japan, Australia, Texas?
I think a tricky one will be Japan. I know not everyone enjoys that circuit. But apart from that, I think the rest are quite nice circuits to race around.
Yeah, I do. I like the fact that we finished in Texas as well. Nice and wide track, isn't it? So, yeah, should be a fun one to end on as well. But still, 4 weeks before we talk about all that. Sergio, anything you want to end on tonight, though?
No, it's just good racing from everyone and a quality finish.
Yeah, quality finish. Photo finish, a split second could have decided that. And again, a big shout to everyone here tonight, listening along, watching along, and also playing along. So the boys that raced tonight had to kind of overcome those Xbox and PC issues beforehand, where some of them couldn't even get on the game. So the fact that we still had a lobby that was, I think, 18 or 19 drivers deep was sensational. So big up yourselves, big up to Michael for his constant effort as well, and a big up to Sergio for all of the knowledge he often brings to this stream. We'll see you next week, Abu Dhabi, same time, same place. If you're getting involved, like I said, hop in the Discord, for the F1 Discord, and just ask some questions. Might even put you in as a reserve driver. Be here Monday, 9:30. You never know when opportunity will knock. You may well be able to get on the grid next week. We'll see. Take care, take it easy, and a big thank you to everyone tonight for their involvement. We'll see you when we see you. Good night. We're out.